Because I don't think I heard you right. Say it again.
I guess, sure. What I said was, I love you, Naruto. And you also need to know that Sasuke doesn't mean
love you,
anything to me
Benji.
anymore. It was totally crazy to ever like him in the first place.
Girl, I shy for you. I wouldn't say I lie, but I lie for you. And I wouldn't say I cry, but I cry for you. All these tears on my eyes and they fall for you. And they fall for you. All these hoes on my phone, but I'm calling you. Like through the bumps and the lows, girl, I'm calling you. Girl, I'm all for you. Well, bye. Girl, I try for you. I wouldn't say I lie, but I lie for you. No, I wouldn't say I cry, but I cry for you. All these tears on my eyes and they fall for you. And they fall for you, and they fall for you, but they falling. Yeah, they fall for you, yeah, they fall for you. I'm falling. I've been falling for you. I got a whole lot of problems in my head, but you know that I'm trying for you. You know that I'm flying for you. I can never switch the sides on you. I know a lot of people lying on you. They never had somebody right for you, for real. And I know how I feel, but I hope that you love me, I'm hoping it's real. Like I tell you, I need you, I hope that you feel. And you know that I love you, but you know the deal. Yeah, like I can't lie to you, like I can't try for you. I can't, but I try for you. I wouldn't say I lie, but I lie for you. And I wouldn't say I cry, but I cry for you. All these tears on my eyes and they fall for you. And they fall for you. All these hoes on my phone when I'm calling you. Like through the bumps and the lows, girl, I'm calling you. Girl, I'm all for you, like how baby.
Ooh, I'm just now doing a mic check. Oh my gosh, mic check, mic check. 1, 1, 2. Code TV. Hey, yo, what is up, you two? It's your boy Binary back at you with another live video. Hey, let me correct that. Let me go ahead and correct that. It's your boy, Dr. Binary. It's your boy, Dr. Binary, back at you with another live video. This is a 3-part series. It's a 3-part series. What I wanted to do that I didn't do, which I should have, is I wanted to take today to be the introduction, right? I wanted today to be the introduction so that we know exactly where we're headed with this 3-part series. And just so you know, all 3 parts are connected. Like, it's not just like I have 3 different topics and I'm trying to package this up as a series. No, they're all interconnected. And so we are going to be gradually going upward, right? We're going to be gradually going upward depending on how you view things. So this could be like a Kendrick Lamar Damn album. You know, if you listen to Kendrick Lamar's Damn album from start to finish, right? If you listen to his album from start to finish, it shows you somebody who's progressing in a very positive way. I might be putting some of y'all on game. Some of y'all probably didn't know this. If you listen to it from start to finish, it is a storyline that shows Kendrick actually getting better and better and better. And to the end, he reaches this realization of self-actualization, right? But if you listen to the damn album backwards, which is insane, which is why he won so many awards for it, a Pulitzer Prize and all that stuff, is because if you listen to it backwards, it shows the detriment, it shows the downfall, it shows how you start off okay and then you just lead into this spiral of ignorance, in this spiral of brainwashing, in this spiral of negativity, in this trap that the hood seems to have hold of a lot of young black boys. So that is one of the reasons why Kendrick Lamar's Damn album is so dope. Some of y'all didn't know that, so I just gave y'all some information. But first, let me go ahead and shout out the people that are here early this morning. Woke up this morning. Shout out to Girl by the Mystic, one of the best moderators in the business. I mean, if you are a Code Fam moderator, if you are part of the Codification Squad, of course you are the best in the business. It is what it is. Shout out to CJ. Thank you for supporting me the way that you do, girl. Bother for real. Bother for real. Bother for real. Shout out to Unbother for real for being dope as always. Appreciate you. Lene OG 2.0. I always say your name wrong. I think I'm doing it on purpose now. I think it's a thing. Queen Sugar. What's up, Queen Sugar? On skates. Hey. Queen Sugar on skates. Hey. Bounce, roll, skate. Hey. When the Rennie's in the system, ain't no telling, will I fuck or will I diss them? That's what they be yelling. I'm a pimp by blood, not relation. Y'all be chasing, I replace them. Hey, shout out to Rennie. When Lemon was up on the panel and I was shouting out Rennie, he was digging it and he started freestyling. Ain't that crazy? What up, Wes? Good to see you, friend. Angela T. White in the buildings. Homegirl right there. Good to see you. You know, good to see you. Is that my messy twin, Angela T. White? What's Angela T. White is you, huh? Pretty chocolate girl is here. Pretty chocolate girl. Pretty chocolate girl. All right, just don't call you late for dinner. Hold on. Because I'm eating a Nutri-Grain bar and I need to wash it down with some lemonade. Hold on, give me a second. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I swear to you guys, I am drinking pink lemonade this morning. It might be nasty, right? I'm drinking pink excuse me. I'm drinking refreshing pink lemonade in the morning, and I'm also drinking my coffee. So I mean, it's a two for oneer. It's a 2-for-1er. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm drinking fresh pink lemonade this morning. Let me get another drink as I wash down this Nutri-Grain bar. I'm trying to get a little bit more healthy. I'm trying to drink less coffee, but I can't just stop, right? And so I'm going to see if this lemonade is going to help me out a little bit, you know, because, yeah, you know, why not? Hold on, guys. I got to upload 2. Damn it. I got to upload 2 more files. Ooh, is this cough? Is this the Lord trying to tell me something? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Couldn't even mute my mic. Damn, man. It's my body rejecting. Oh, I have too many files. Ain't that some shit? Dang, I got to erase some shit. No. I don't want to erase anything. Maybe this one can go. They said my black ass got too many files. Ain't that some shit? Sorry, you got to erase some shit. Okay, the show is about to start very, very soon. If you're catching the replay, thank you so much. I am going to leave this public until the series is over so that those that, you know, want to watch the series, they can. But once the series is over, I got to honor the perks of membership, right? And hopefully these 3 live streams could be evergreen and not necessarily moments, right? That's one of the things about being in the beef sector is you catch a lot of moments, but they don't withstand the test of time unless you're doing some revisionist history. You know what I mean? Or you're going back and checking real history. But it's people rarely do that. I know Shakim does it at a phenomenal degree, but people rarely do that. I mean, Pizarro opened up a whole vault. Like if you just weren't lazy, she opened up a whole vault where you could go back. And I used a few things out of that. Like she opened up a whole vault where you can go back and catch a lot of history, but nobody really is going back and checking for that shit. But hopefully Hopefully these videos with Dr. Binary could be evergreen material and people can go back and learn some stuff. All right, so we are about to jump into this. Here's a small little introduction. At the end, we're going to do a summary. So instead of a big introduction, we are going to just summarize everything that we went over. But this is the Get Out series, right? This is the Get Out series. It is a 3-part series. Okay, the first part that we're going to talk about within the Get Out series is early signs of trauma for Black boys, right? We're going to talk about early signs of trauma for Black boys. Now, what I want to preface and premise all of the premise of this actual study is through the lens of a single Black mother, okay? A single Black mother. So why did I use the Get Out lady? Let me tell you why I used the Get Out lady for this particular thumbnail. Yeah, this is why I used the mom from Get Out. We all know, right, that Black ladies was the Black lady that's on the screen. Her body was pretty much being used by the white grandma in the movie. We know that, right? This Black lady, like her likeness, her body, her mind, her psyche was overtaken because a white woman was living inside of her, right? However, this is what I believe. Single mothers with no fault of their own initially because of the man, right? Single mothers with no fault of their own initially, because if the dad decides he is going to leave permanently, even if the relationship didn't work out, the dad could still be in his son's life. But if a dad decides, which 70%, damn it, and this is old data. Somebody was getting on me for using old data. I like using old data. I really do, because you know that there's a human element to it. Nowadays, everything is Chat GBT. Everything is AI overview. Everything is. Now, I'm not saying the AI is wrong, because the AI could be spot on, but I like that human engagement, right? I like to be able to find particular typos and errors and things like that, knowing the information given to me is from my fellow human. We are moving closer and closer into the matrix, more than you even know. But anyways, 70% of fathers are out of the mother effing home, which is insane, and that's older data. So we need to look at the newer data, because the rate could raise. I mean, the last thing that I looked at, it was between 70 to 80. That's insane if you really think about it. So I believe that single mothers, no faults of their own initially, because the man they was with ended up being trash. But out of sheer guilt, that mother starts to enable her sons, children, maybe not the daughters, because for whatever reason, there could be a tad bit of jealousy, especially if the daughters don't follow their footsteps. I mean, but for whatever reason, because of that guilt, they enable their sons to do pretty much whatever they want. And understand this, that son or sons, they could take the image of their father. So imagine being a single mother and raising up a boy that looks just like the man that broke your heart. And so what strong women try to do, if they don't seek therapy, what they try to do is they try their hardest to suppress resentment. Although when they look at their son, what they're seeing is the hurt that left him, the love that left him, the possibilities that could have been for a full family to be intact that left him. And so there is suppressed resentment. And the reason why it is suppressed is so that the mother can actually try her hardest to raise her son. However, after some years and years and years, and the son gets older, depending on if the son is wilding out. I mean, it could go two directions, right? The son can be so dependent on the mother that he kisses her ass like nobody's business, and like, he doesn't go out and like spread his wings or nothing like that, and everything she says is a go. I mean, everything. And then the mother in those types of cases typically seems to be a little bit more militant than the lax mother in whom son starts to wild out, right? So eventually, when the kiddo grows up, no matter what, eventually that suppressed resentment starts to emerge. And because it wasn't dealt with, it emerges in a very unhealthy way. So the lane I want to steer down is not the kiddo whose mother was pretty militant and they became a mama's boy for real, for real. I mean, very good at school, very good at this, very good at that. I mean, straight up, will submit underneath a woman's authority like nobody's business. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, they don't exert dominance at all, like at all. I'm not going down that lane. I'm going down that lane of self-entitled, bratty kiddos that may have seen some things, and because the mother was not equipped to deal with the trauma that kid experienced, that brattiness and all of that is played out in a very violent, toxic way. So that is the direction I want to take this series. You know what I mean? So lock in, because buckle up, because it is a 3-part series. Should be a pretty good one. All right. I mean, kiddos, when they start to grow up, being very bratty because they don't have any real male role models outside of maybe a few stepbrothers, maybe a few older siblings, maybe a few uncles here and there, that have moved out a long time ago, a few older brothers that may have gotten in trouble with the law. So what happens when the father has gone and everyone starts to leave the house? Because when the father is gone and all of a sudden everyone starts to leave the house, and you are the youngest and you are the boy, and everybody starts to abandon you. That's what it feels like. I mean, the father's gone. Now your older brother's gone. Now people are just leaving and it's just you. I mean, an older brother could have got locked up. One could have moved out of the state and country and married the love of his life and said to hell with this dysfunctional family. Like, he probably escaped somehow from the trap of dysfunction. And Lord forbid, maybe one of the brothers may have died. Lord forbid. And I say all of that to say this. That is the clanking of the glass in the movie Get Out. This is what we're doing. We are exploring the walls and the floor of the sunken place. And the sunken place can be identified in various environments. So the sunken place isn't like just one big pit of hell. The sunken place is when you are trapped in an environment, whether physically or mentally, and you cannot escape. And when I say trapped, I'm talking about traps that were set for you. Like being black and fatherless in America isn't by happenstance. It's not by coincidence. These things have been designed. And if you don't know that, then you are in a sunken place. You are in a sunken place. And so that is going to push us into the direction of the first part of our series, which is early signs of trauma for Black boys. Early signs of trauma for Black boys. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and watch a video really quick and kind of break it down about the white man in his view, and I know a lot of you guys are probably like, who gives a damn what the white man thinks? But for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, white people feel more adamant, white people feel more bold to speak out about things that are going on in black families. I don't understand why this is. Now, every once in a while, you will see a black father or mother truly speak out publicly about the things going on within our community. Maybe it's one of those things that we were tricked into believing, thinking if we don't talk about it, eventually it'll go away. No, the only way that systemic oppression and things that were set up against us will go away is if we speak about it and keep complaining and keep protesting and do what Martin Luther King did and advise his people to do. And sometimes we just got to boycott some shit. What if black people said to hell with sports? What if we said to hell with entertainment? What if we said to hell with hip hop? What if we said to hell with all these things? Our nation overnight would change. But because we have been conditioned to thrive off of instant gratification and off of physical attributes and violence, that shit probably will never happen. All right, let me get my ass back in the chat and then we will analyze this video and then we will jump right into the points. Okay. Illumin Negro Enlightened Minority is here. Rasta baby. Good to see you. Dana Smith is here. Cosmic Girls in the building. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this part one, you know what I'm saying, of 3. Part 1 of 3, you know what I mean? Anybody else here that I'm missing? Hummer Girl, that's my homegirl right there. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Rachel's Heart, you know, it's always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, Rachel's Heart. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and share my mother effing screen. All right, this is fatherless homes hurting young black teens. Fatherless homes hurting young black teens. Here we go. News at 5 in Tennessee. Here we go.
Homicide victims in the nation ranks Tennessee at number 8. And the majority of the victims are young men. The study shows those committing crimes often live without their biological fathers. News Channel 5's Brandon Marshall spoke with a father who has a message for those teens.
Yeah, that's wild how those committing crimes often grow up in fatherless homes, and they are definitely targeting black teens right now with this message. Those committing crimes, meaning you will go into a convenience store or a gas station or a grocery store, same thing, convenience store, grocery store, gas station, all those. You will go there and you will wear an oversized sweater or an oversized coat, and you will steal bottles of alcohol. So you put your freedom at risk, right? Because you probably have already been hemmed up. If you already have the mentality of going in and stealing to boost in order to sell for a cheaper price to get the $15, because typically, let's just say the bottle costs $20 and you sell it for $5. Let's just say $5, and you sell it for $5, and so you risk freedom for like $5 or $10. But let's just say you're stealing gallons of Taylor Port and you're bringing it back to the person that is willing to buy it, right? So we are supply and demand, but that supply and demand, although it's a good business sense, it is misplaced. It is misplaced, and you are walking around in the sunken place thinking that that's okay. But that is due to fatherlessness. Let's continue.
Nashville father Steven Anderson works hard to provide for his 15 children.
11 boys, 4 girls. 6 of them done graduated from college.
The 49-year-old has not always been in their lives. After spending time locked up, he is committed to not letting them make his past mistakes.
You see, I commend him because he really did change and he came back. Unfortunately, that is not the case for a lot of black boys. And let me tell you this, black boys are waiting for that moment for their hero to walk through those doors. They're waiting for that moment for their hero because fatherless black boys, even if their mom talks about how their father ain't shit and ain't this and ain't that, they can't help but to romanticize the relationship between them and their dad. Dad will take me to football games. Dad will take me to parks. Dad will play catch. Dad will do this. Dad will do that. Maybe, right? We know that that probably is not true, but you romanticize that. And the cool thing about this dude is he actually did that. So when he showed back up as the hero and was accepted by his 11, 15 kids? How many kids? 15 kids? Damn. But he did a phenomenal job. Now, let's just say hope deferred or dreams shattered. Okay. There's some people that will wait around and dad never comes in, but tragedy always strikes, right? Tragedy always seems to happen. Uncle gets locked up. Older brother gets locked up. Maybe younger brother passes away. Maybe so many things start happening around you that you think if only my father was here, things would be different. And then the idea of your hero dad starts to vanish, and the very thought of having a dad starts to disintegrate from your mind, which could be deadly. Let's continue.
Leave the fast money alone. It's not worth it.
A recent report released by the Violence Policy Center ranks Tennessee 8th for the highest rates of black homicide victims in the nation. The majority of the victims were black males. Furthermore, author Dr. Warren Farrell found male teens committing crimes live without their biological fathers.
In 1965, the percentage of children being raised without dads in the African American community was 25%. Now it's over 70%, almost 3 times the amount in the African.
God damn. If you don't think that this is systemic, then something is wrong with you. As I sip on pink lemonade this morning, as I'm trying to battle my coffee addiction, give me 1 second. That's good. Yeah, that's good. As I sip on refreshing pink lemonade in the morning, if you don't think that what you see around you, you could be in a very toxic space and you can actually be witnessing the effects of 70% of black fathers being out of their homes. You could be witnessing the effects of that in real time if you just pay attention. All you got to do is pay attention. And as I battle my addiction to coffee, now, I'm still drinking a little bit of coffee, right? I'm drinking half a cup of coffee and a big tall glass of pink lemonade every morning just to see if that could help me, because I know my addiction to caffeine is real, right? So you can open up your eyes and you can see things around you. You can see how fatherless homes are played out and what it looks like when a grown man who does not have the proper guidance, right, is trapped in the sunken place. All you got to do is open your eyes. We're almost done with this video.
American community.
Farrell spoke about the National Fatherhood Summit in Nashville today, talking about the boy crisis, boys living without their fathers. This can affect their education and mental health.
Dad-deprived boys are much more likely to drop out of high school. Boys who drop out of high school, more than 20% of them do not have jobs in their 20s.
Both Farrell and Anderson.
God damn. Listen, majority of the boys, black boys that drop out of high school, when they're in their 20s, they don't have a job. You know why? Because they trapping, because they handling business, because they trying to be rappers, because they trying to do this and they trying to do that. Now, fatherless black boys, right, that do finish high school may not have a job at 35. God damn. And that is primary research. I didn't get that from nowhere, but what my eyes have seen. Let's go ahead and continue.
agree communities need to provide more education and positive male role models for children. Anderson's message to teens.
You have a purpose here. Do good by that purpose. Wait your turn. Be patient. Don't be so eager to go get the quick money.
In that
Those are facts. Don't be so eager to go get the quick money. I'm telling you, it is systematic oppression because it feels like they drop the drug into our community called instant gratification, also called paper mother effing chase. Paper chase. Most of the times when you see somebody boasting and bragging about money, what you're seeing is all their money. Most of the times when a person has, especially in our community, when they have a lot of money, they want to protect their money, so they are not going to talk about their money. So when you see these money phones and all this and all that, all they're pretty much doing is showing their savings account, right? Like if I was to show my savings account, I would have money phones. But why would I do that? That's dumb, right? So we're not doing that. So let's jump back into it, right? Early signs of trauma, right? So let's jump into it. Here we go. Early signs of trauma for a black boy. Early signs of trauma in a black boy can manifest as aggressive or withdrawn behaviors, hypervigilance, and difficulty regulating emotions. These symptoms are often the result of exposure to racial trauma and other systemic stressors, which can contribute to chronic stress and alter a child's brain chemistry. God damn. Not alter a child's brain chemistry. I don't know if y'all are catching that. That right there is insane. Altering a child's brain chemistry. There has been research done, right? There has been research done about young black boys. Hold on, sorry. Damn it, I got something in my ear. There has been research done about young black boys and their educational start, meaning how they start in a system that was not designed for them. White folks went as early as Head Start to run studies on us, especially black boys without fathers. White folks have went as early as Head Start to study why black boys struggle in school. And the reason primarily why black boys struggle in school is because the school system was not designed for them. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find the clip. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me find the report. They're talking about the out of wedlock birth rate right now is horrible in our community. Give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry. Give me a second. Damn, man. I should have damn it. I should have got the timestamp. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. Damn it. This white lady is rambling her ass off. Give me a second. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. Oh my God. Give me a second. Lord Jesus, she's so long-winded. And who am I to say that somebody's long-winded? Why did I not get this timestamp? I thought I would know exactly where it was at. Lord Jesus, I can't find it. Lord, I am so unprepared. Bruh, I can't find it. I can't find it. All right, give me a second, y'all. I will find that clip. Uh she's actually getting on my nerves just listening to her talk. She's getting on my mother effing nerves. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, y'all. Let me jump back into my commentary. So the emotional and behavioral signs, right? Okay. So we're talking about the early signs of trauma. So what I want to jump into now, why I try to find that clip for the white lady, is the lane for expression, right? No lane. There is no lane for expression for young black boys within the school system. What's up, Catherine Powell? What is up, Stefan? Good to see y'all. Anybody else done crept into the building? Queen Cannabis is here, and Queen Cannabis is in green. Hey, hey, oh snap! You made me fall out the bushes. You're stating facts this morning. Hey, it's a three-part series. Look at Jay Wilson. Let's go. What is good? What is good? What is good? Jay Wilson is in the building. Everybody knows that I am a huge fan of Jay Wilson's. He a fan. He a fan. He a fan. Shout out to Jay Wilson. Thanks so much for being here. Uh, yes, they were not designed to be taught, and I need to find that clip because it really does bode well for what's going on. And my dumbass did not, for whatever reason, get the timestamp. But oh well, let me move into my notes, right? So emotional and behavioral signs. Trauma can disrupt a child's ability to regulate their feelings. So imagine being a child dealing with all kinds of trauma, right? And then not being able to regulate those things and not getting the proper attention needed, and you grow up. What does a child that has been exposed to all different types of drama and does not have a positive male role model or a father to look up to, what does that look like when that person is like between 30, 35? I mean, we're going to get there. That's what this series is about. We're going to get there, right? So right now we're dealing with the early stages. We're dealing with the child. So trauma can disrupt a child's ability to regulate their feelings, leading to a range of emotional and behavioral changes, including this: emotional outburst, emotional outburst, frequent irritability. They get irritated really, really easy with the slightest of noises, with people not agreeing with them, with people that have critical thinking skills that challenge the basis of their knowledge that might be very fickle, but to them, they think they know everything. It intensifies the anger or rage that may seem disproportionate to the situation. Have you ever seen a young black boy, or maybe even a young adult, or maybe even an older black man that just goes crazy and the rage expressed does not match the situation at all? Why would somebody get so mad over honest questions? Because what tends to happen is if somebody starts to feel inferior, especially if they have dealt with the type of trauma that we're talking about, they have no other means of coping. Can you believe the vitriol that comes out of some people's mouths, and they call you all out of your name, and it is by habit? They don't even realize how nasty and filthy their mouth is towards somebody that they deem to respect and like and want to partner with and do all these things. They don't even realize the disgusting words that are coming out of their mouth because of the trauma, to the point to where people have to let that particular person know, calm down, what is actually happening. And that particular person will be like, oh, my bad, I forgot. That's not normal. What I'm doing is not normal. But in their mind, it is very normal because they suffer from emotional outburst. Forgive me, y'all. I'm finding this damn clip. I don't give a damn. I'm going to find it. I don't give a damn. I'm finding it. Hold on. Hold on. I'm finding it. If she would stop stuttering. Stop stuttering, white lady. Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Damn it, I gotta find it. And she's quoting black people. Damn, I mean, she's making points, but y'all can't hear it. Hold on, I'm gonna find it, damn it. You know what? Let me play this part first so that y'all don't think that this number is coming out of the blue, okay? And y'all don't think that, I'm just making some shit up, all right, about this white lady that talks too damn much. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this off of the screen for now. And let me go ahead and share my screen. And hopefully you guys are catching what I'm putting down. And hopefully you are enjoying the flow of the show. Like I said, I would like for this to be evergreen material. I don't want it to just be a one and done type of thing. I want people to go back and to be able to look at this and kind of, examine the things that I'm saying and maybe do some fact checking, right? Okay, so here we go. This is the white lady talking about the percentage of fatherless black families. The percentage is a real percentage, and let's just really think about the mother effing percentage. Listen.
Well, what are we at today? We're at 71% of what Moynihan was raising an alarm about. So 3 times higher about. And so it is absolutely at civilization destroying levels. And
fatherless black homes are at 71%. And this lady said that right there is an alarm because it's civilization destroying levels. Why can't the black community come together? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Because we are so fractured. And the craziest thing is black people are the glue to societies everywhere we go. Whether it's our intellect in agriculture, whether it's our intellect in architect, whether it's our intellect in sustainability for crops, I already said agriculture, forgive me, or whether it's our physical physiques to get things done, whether it's our voices, just our pure vibe, it builds nations. That's just what we do. That's just what we do. However, we are in a trick bag. Because those things, although they are important, they're not benefiting us. Because we are so afraid, for whatever reason, to truly benefit each other. We always think that we have to down each other. Now, there are small pockets of black communities that have understood the importance of using our brilliance for us. There are small pockets. It's just not enough. You know what I mean? So let's see if I can actually find the mother effing clip with you guys listening in. Here we go.
And what is consequences of that? That's probably true. But we certainly have ample data on the fact that kids growing up in single parent family homes are 4 or 5 times as likely to be poor. You say you'd be better off being born with a smart parent than a rich parent. I would say you're better off being born with 2 parents than one welfare supported single mother who happens to have a larger government income than 2.
All right, that's just her subtle way of saying, yeah, so you know how to trick the system, but you will not get married because of that. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Just as long as your spiritual husband is around somehow, like he needs to be around, damn it. He needs to be somewhere around. He does. I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole. I wish I would have got the timestamp. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me when I was putting this together. I told myself I was going to go back and get the timestamp, and I forgot.
To work ill if you're in a Rawlsian position of choosing single mother. So things are really bad. But the problem is, how do you fix it? And people like you and I have been going around talking about the problem of single parenting. And I was just going to add.
It's so funny how if you wouldn't know no better, you would think that she was just talking about single parenting, period. No, she's talking primarily and only in this discussion about single parenting within black families. So don't let the language fool you. She's talking about fatherless black boys. So let's just
The problem is not just for the individual child and growing up without a father, but when boys are raised in a culture that does not expect them to get married before they have children, they are absolved of the types of expectations that can help them become functioning males. And I know I'm in your territory here, Jordan. And
I mean, that's cool and all. I mean, that's all right, but you can't tell us how. You can't tell us how to have our family, right? How we have our family is how we have our family. But I gotta get to. Damn it, man! I swear on everything, bro. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me. Why I didn't get the clip that flows so well. I might just have to give up on it. I might just have to give up on it, unless it was in the beginning. I might just have to give up on it, y'all. Yeah, I think I'm going to give up on it. But she was talking about the percentages of African American males and how when we start at Head Start, the assessments given to us at Head Start, y'all, preschool, damn it, we're behind already. And there's pretty much nothing you can do unless you have one of those parents that understand, what the educational system is seeking, and they start teaching their kids early on the system instead of teaching their kids early on. And I know you could do it all, but instead of teaching their kids early on about how it means to, or what it means to be a young black boy growing up fatherless in America, because some parents spend a lot of time doing that, or some parents, single mothers with young black boys, don't teach them anything and send them to school because now school is supposed to teach them, right? And so what she was pretty much saying is that we start off behind when it comes to the educational system. And we're already going to be behind, even if we know the knowledge that we're supposed to know as far as these assessments, because one, there is very little representation of them, of black boys or black males in these school systems, right? I think that's why a lot of school districts gravitate towards me, because I am a black male that is at least where I'm at. I'm trying to change that dynamic of the school system, and I'm trying my hardest with the primary focus of giving black kiddos a mother effing chance. That's what I love about my job. I'm able to do that. I'm not discriminating against other races. I'm just not going to keep my race suppressed and down. And so I'm on all kinds of committees. I'm doing a lot of work in my district, and I am raising the awareness for black education. And when I say black education, I don't mean just the curriculum, the demanded curriculum that we have to know. I'm talking about on top of that, what's going on in their lives, what's going on in their hoods, what's going on financially with them, like financial literacy, all that stuff. All of that stuff I am bringing to the mother effing table, because that is what is truly needed in the black community, especially entrepreneurship. I'm bringing that, and writing. I'm bringing tons of writing. It is so sad when I see little young black boys that can't stand writing. Like, they hate writing. They don't realize just how valuable writing truly is, whether they want to be poets, whether they want to be genuine dope ass rappers that's not poisoning the community. Whatever it is that comes with writing, I'm trying to help them with that as well, right? But she was talking about how the system, or how blacks just entering into the system are behind. So I wanted to highlight that, but I can't, because I can't find the shit, because I didn't do my due diligence as far as getting mother effing timestamps. So that's on my black ass. So all right. So we are going to continue on. It looks like I have about three. I have about 3 more clips to get through, and it's a few more talking points to get through. Drop the link to her research. I could drop the link to the Jordan Peterson channel that I watched, and then you can hear it for yourself. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me do that. And it wasn't her research. She was basing it off of a, oh my God, now her voice is in my ear again. She was basing her research off of Morninghams, who is a black researcher, off of his data, right? So she was basing things off of his data. But let me put that in there. I'm gonna title it "White Lady." White, white lady. At the end of the day, I'm a troll, damn it. What up, Ruby? What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? And there's the link. You guys can watch that for yourself. There's the link right there. Yeah, we're gonna title it "White Lady." All right, so okay, back at it. Don't forget, we are in the portion of the show where we are talking about there's no lane for expression, emotional and behavioral signs, right? So that's what we're talking about, emotional and behavioral signs. So another sign outside of emotional outburst is withdrawal and numbness. Withdrawals and numbness. There could be a sense of retreat from social situations. There are some times where we will watch a particular content creator when things get real spicy and that person is not involved in the spice, but that person wants that to take place. And maybe that person is supposedly friends with the other person that's getting drugged. That particular person will flee the scene, and by coincidence, by happenstance, once the drama starts to subside a little bit, that person mysteriously reemerges and reappears. There's a lot of trauma that could be built into that action. Now, I know on a content creator level, what you don't want to do is get mixed up into that drama. And so you run, right? You run because it's your quote unquote friend getting drugged. And you want to be able to have the excuse of, oh, damn, I didn't know that was going on. I was smoking a cigarette, or I was, taking care of my cat, or possibly walking a dog, or, feeding the goldfish, or, taking out the trash, you know what I mean? Or, opening the door for my mom. You just never know what could be possibly going on, but they just weren't around. Now, of course, for a content creator, that's gold for his or her channel. But there is also signs of, emotional and behavioral damage that could be going on there because they can't even stick around to watch somebody that they deem that they like have bad things happening to them, like getting drugged. They can't even stick around to see that. The trauma is too much. Another sign of withdrawal and numbness could be appearing detached from others, always separating yourself from others. You can be in a large group, but you will find out ways how to make yourself unique and different from that group, even if it is not true. Even if it is not true. Why do most people do that? It is in fear of attachment. It's wild because people have fear of attachment and it's primarily based off of abandonment issues. Isn't that crazy? People have fear of attachment that's primarily based off of separation anxiety. Isn't that insane? That's insane to me. The thing that's hovering over some especially troubled young black men who has grown up in trauma because they were raised by a single mother, and let me clarify, a single mother that enables their sons, right? So they weren't raised by just a single mother that did her best to try to raise her son properly in a system that is already 10 strikes against her son, right? No, we're talking about an enabling mother, right, that has been, for whatever reason, that has, been chewed up by the system herself, doesn't really have the mental capacity to to raise this son, not only to raise this son, but to raise a man. It's difficult for a woman to raise a man. It's probably borderline impossible, right? Right. And so that's what we're talking about here. And so appearing detached from others, right? That is a psychological effect due to abandonment issues and separation anxiety. So because that is prevalent in somebody's life, they will be scared to attach themselves to somebody. And so they will always look to sabotage that type of relationship, even if the person that they want to be closest to is cool with them. Like, hey, that's cool. Yeah, we could be cool. It doesn't matter. Whoop-de-whoop. What's going on? What's going on? They will figure out ways to sabotage that relationship. Come Pillow Talk with Bae, Diva D. I see y'all. Ruby, I see y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Hopefully you are enjoying the show. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. LG is in the building. Shout out to LG. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Hopefully my due diligence is paying off. Remember, I want this to be evergreen content. I don't want this to be flash in the pan. I want this to be really, really examined and looked at, because your boy is dropping some knowledge. All right. And so there's that. All right. Another form of emotional and behavioral trauma, and signs of it, is persistent sadness of fear, ongoing feelings of sadness. There's always depression involved. There's always a hopelessness involved, or there's always this intense fear. That is another sign of emotional behavioral signs. Now, remember, we are talking about the early signs of trauma for a Black boy, right? And don't forget, this is a 3-part series that's going to lead from not only the Black boy, but we are going to go into the young adult, and then we are going the young Black adult, and then we are going to go into the Black man, right? And so that is the progression all through the lens, give me a second, of an enabling mother that gets tired of the suppression that she forced herself to deal with in order to try to at least successfully raise a young Black man, right? And don't forget, the reason why we are using this Get Out image is because we know that in the movie of Get Out, this Black woman, her body was captured by thought, right? Her body was captured by thought. Her body was overtaken by somebody else's soul and spirit. And so that system, or that person's belief system, was being played out through the body of a Black woman, but the ideals were not of that Black woman. And that's what I'm saying. Some of these kiddos, unfortunately, have already started off in the sunken place because the mother is there trying to do things for her son with not her own ideologies, not her own ideas, not her own thoughts, but trapped in a system that was designed for Black people to not have a cohesive nucleus as far as their family is concerned. When we see fatherless Black families, you have to know that was by design. And if you have fallen victim to that, you were once subjected to the sunken place. But if you successfully raise Black men as a single Black mother, congratulations, you escaped the mother effing matrix, and fist in the air, you did your mother effing thing, right? Unfortunately, that is not how this story is going to end, right? All right. So back to it. Here we go. So the ongoing feelings of sadness, right? There are certain content creators in this space, right, that push into that. You know, they listen to Juice WRLD a lot. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff, right? They are truly like in that space, right, where they know like depression and anxiety is real, where they have genuine conversations on Instagram phone lines and things like that, you know, I mean, in Discords and things like that. So that's where the I guess that's where the realness of conversations could actually take place. And that's where people start to solidify their relationship with this particular person. However, just because you solidified a relationship with this particular person doesn't mean you have a genuine relationship. You have just moved into the next level. But at a drop of a dime, at the tip of a hat, that person can and will turn on you. Why? Persistent sadness or fear. It's the ongoing feeling of sadness, depression, and hopelessness. They take that instant gratification that was designed to destroy Black families. They take that instant gratification. They use it for the initial boost of having quote unquote friends on YouTube. And so they use it for that initial boost, but that initial boost is never sustaining because social media cannot replace real relationships. I'm sorry, it just cannot. It cannot. And so if a person is looking for social media to be like their social how can I put this? Their number one primary social source of interaction with people, then they are screwed. And we see that time and time again, and we see it clearly, especially with this particular series and what we are addressing. Now, let me go ahead and get a sip of lemonade. Don't forget, I am trying my hardest to combat my addiction to caffeine, right? And so I am drinking a tall glass of pink lemonade today. Hold on, give me a second. I am drinking a tall glass of pink lemonade today, coupled with coffee. So I know I'm just addicted. So at least I only have a half cup of coffee and a big ass glass of lemonade, right? So I mean, there's that. That's me trying my hardest to live better and do better. I had somebody on Instagram tell me that they just got out of the hospital, you know, based off of some things that was going on with their heart. And I was like, oh man, if that's not a wake up call. And that's another thing that I love. I love my Instagram. I love everybody that hits me up on Instagram. I love our conversations. I love those DMs, you guys. Thank you so much. That just shows me that I have made some genuine social media connections, and we are not unrealistic. We know that this is social media. So thank you guys for rocking with me on Instagram, right? So let's get back into it with the no lane for expression, right? This is why a lot of young Black boys, and my heart just goes out. Like when I'm walking around certain campuses within the school district that I'm helping out, when I walk around, like my heart just goes out whenever I see a young Black boy walking around. Our this particular school district that I'm helping out, the Black community, as far as us being represented, has skyrocketed ever since we have taken the initiative to hyper focus on Black families. It has skyrocketed. And man, just to see our culture, just to see our people thriving in this type of situation or this type of setting, I mean, it's dope. But it is a lot of mother effing work, right? It's a lot of work. But unfortunately, you know, we're still doing the work because the school system unfortunately doesn't understand young Black boys. They don't understand it. And that's why that clip was vital that I did not get the timestamp for. And y'all see, I was trying to shuffle through it to find it. But that clip is vital because they are trying to base things and assess young Black boys with their tools, with their mind, with what they think a successful person should be within their system. And these young Black boys, 90% of them don't fit the mold. But what do they want? They want their energy. They want their dancing. They want their sports ability. Man, PE teachers love them. You know what I mean? Like they want all that stuff, but they also want them to be docile and submissive. And, you know, so they want all the good. They want all the good, but they don't want to do any of the teaching. Their patience is very thin when it comes to young Black boys, which is why in special education you will see a lot, I mean a lot of Black boys being labeled with or categorized with emotional disability, ED. And it is so sad when you see these cases, because a lot of the cases, when you look at it, you're just like, oh, he has been labeled because he is Black. I mean, it's just pretty much that, because they don't know culture, because they don't know his upbringing, because they don't know an enabling single mother that has built-in suppressed resentment Like they don't know those things. And so what do? They instantly label these kiddos. All right, so back to it. So persistent sadness or fear. I mean, we can see that happening on these YouTube streets, right? Then we got the reenacting of trauma. The reenacting of trauma. Repetitively reliving traumatic events in thought or play. God damn. Now, I'm not saying suppress the trauma faced and not bring it up or acknowledge that it's happened. I'm saying get some help to deal with the depression that is linked to it that messes up the psychological thought patterns of your mind. You need help for that. You see, a lot of people, myself included, you jump on YouTube and you think that YouTube is a form of therapy. And so you start talking about stuff that you have no business talking about. And if you don't catch yourself, like I caught myself, thank God, I caught myself oversharing. If you don't catch yourself, that trauma starts to become your main identity. And then you start using that trauma as an identifier to create mother effing content. Some people will take their kiddos that have special needs, right? Some people will take their kiddos that have special needs. Now, I have been around kiddos that have special needs for a very, 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 very long time. I understand how hard it is to raise a kiddo with special needs, but I also understand how much joy and love comes with raising a kiddo with special needs. I mean, the joy and love is overwhelmingly more abundant than the trauma or the drama or the struggle that parents face with kiddos that have special needs. However, there are some people that will take their struggles and that will take their the pain in the guilt and shame, because if you are a parent with a kiddo with special needs, there is a level of guilt and shame that you have that if that is not checked, it can be very detrimental to your relationship with your kiddo, because a lot of parents will blame themselves. You know what I mean? So if that's not checked, you're going to have people running around here, feeling certain types of ways and not being able to help their kid the way that they should. But people will take that type of pain. People will take that type of love. People will take those types of circumstances and plaster them all over social media. Reenacting the trauma, reenacting these things, having people talk about it, having people discuss it. And then they get upset when people talk about it and discuss it, because what happens is if it's not dealt with, you just invited an army of strangers to tear apart something very precious and vital to the relationship between you and your child. Isn't that insane? Like, you invited in. Now, let's just say you have a loss in your family. Some people, they suffer from that, but they know how to suffer well. Yes, you heard me right. There is a thing called suffering well, right? That does not mean you suppress all of your emotions and feelings and things like that. It's just one of those things where you actually accept that you live in a world where life and death exist. And we are not exempt. No one is exempt from life or death if you are on this planet. If you go to a graveyard, there is no age range. You go from 5 minutes fetus or 5 minute baby that was born to 115-year-old man or woman. In the graveyards, the age range varies, and there is no particular age in graveyards. So if you don't have that type of understanding, so when something happens to you, you're not able to suffer well. What you tend to do is you take that pain and you make it public and you start to reenact that pain. And that pain starts to become an identifier of who you are when it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be an identifier of who you are. And then you start to make claims on that identifier. This is me. I can talk about this. You cannot talk about this. Not realizing you are in a very public setting where videos can go viral. So imagine you taking a vulnerable moment, talking as if you're only talking to 50, 60, 200, 300, maybe 600 people, right? And it goes viral. And now you have millions of people talking about something you didn't even want out there to begin with. That is what happens when you're reenacting the trauma, repetitively reliving traumatic events just for thought or for play. Damn. What up, Kima? Good to see you. I hate y'all is here. Good to see you. Hey, yeah, I'm trying to preach this morning, LG. You know, Uppity is here. Shout out to Uppity. Tay Bay forever. That's my homegirl right there. All right. Pizza is in the building. Shout out to Pizza. Kina, what's goody? What's goody? Can you reenact trauma that you've never dealt with in the first place? Yes. And that's probably why you're trying to reenact it, because you never dealt with it. And you probably don't even know they are traumatic events that lead to the particular psyche that you have, which is insane. Do you think you could talk with, oh, damn. Ooh. Who we talking about, LG? Who we talking about? What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What up, Queen Me Atlanta? Good to see you. Tastic T, thank you so much for being here. Diddy Love is in the building. Yo, the peoples is here. The peoples is here. Miss Margot, good to see you, friend. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all know when I'm in my bag, I'm in my bag. I hardly ever get into the chat. Where's the data on the peoples who participated in her research? Where's the link so that I can read it? I think I sent you that, the white lady. Okay, that means I'm caught up. That means I'm caught up. Let's mother effing go. Let's go. All right. Oh, Pink Bo is here. Pink Bo Birdo is here. Shout out to you, Pink Bo Birdo. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. So what about loss of interest, right? Loss of interest. A sudden lack of interest in activities they once enjoyed, like school or after school clubs, or like theater, or like travel, like music, you know what I mean? Like walks, like playing basketball, all those things. All of a sudden, when the trauma starts to really surface itself, you start to seclude yourself and you start to not do things that you used to love to do. And then you start making excuses as to why you don't do those things anymore. But we know the real reason why certain people aren't out there doing hobbies anymore like they should, like taking walks, like listening to music on a jog, like, going to acting classes or theater or things like that. The reason why is because some people have issues with substances, right? And I am not the pot calling the kettle black, because I know I have substance abuse issues dealing with caffeine. If you don't think that caffeine is just as bad as all the other drugs that people are taking, something is wrong with you. Between caffeine and sugar, I have issues. So I am not just calling some people out. I am calling everybody out that has these types of addictions that are harmful, that will make you lose interest in so many things. Two of the main things that will make you lose interest are alcohol and weed, unfortunately. Now, let me go ahead and talk about weed really quick, okay? Weed, believe it or not, will not make you lose interest per se, but what weed typically does is not allow you to do exactly what it is that your mind wants you to do. Like, you can have so many great thoughts. You can have so many things that you really, really want to do. But when push comes to shove, you just don't have the motivation to do it. So it's not like you lost interest. You just lost motivation, even though when you're smoking and thinking about it, it's like, yo, I'm gonna do this. And then when your high comes down and you still realize it's a good idea, you know, you just don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, so that's what I read about as far as weed is concerned. Now, alcoholism, that's different, right? Alcoholism will strip away even the desire to do other things. Like you genuinely lose interest. And if you are a staunch, hardcore alcoholic, you always look for the easy road, right? You're always looking for the easy road. What is the easiest thing I can do to get the maximum benefit of whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish? And that's what alcoholism does. Some people are so addicted to alcohol, the easiest thing they can do is be homeless and ask for change on the side of the road in hopes that they can obtain enough money to buy alcohol for the night. In their minds, that's the easiest way they can do it. They don't want to work 40 hours a day being enslaved by a system just to afford the beer. To them, that's too much of a cost. They would rather be on the corner in hopes that every day they could at least make $3 to $5 in order to purchase a tall can. Or if they get blessed and they make, you know, hundreds of dollars, you know, there's that. But they lost interest in the system. Another thing when dealing with emotional and behavioral signs, there's no lane for expression for Black boys, especially in school systems, is low self-esteem. When somebody calls themselves the king of this or the king of that, especially in these particular sectors that we're in, just know that you're probably dealing with somebody with low self-esteem. You see, they want to be the king somewhere, because if they examine their real life, they know that they are on peasant level, right? If you examine their real life, it's peasant level. And so a young Black boy's trauma could happen early on if they have never been introduced to higher levels of thought for self-actualization and how to reach it, right? Because unfortunately, for a lot of Black boys that are raised by enabling single Black mothers, unfortunately, what tends to happen is the Black mother, unfortunately, will do the self-actualization early on. You're a king, you're this, you're that, and they have done nothing to prove that, right? They have actually did things on the opposite side, it just being a menace to mother effing society, right? But the mother, because she's enabling, will give them false affirmation, right? Which is why they could probably do a rap song and boasting and bragging about how they run shit, correct? But we know that that is so far from the truth. And so they have to do that because when push comes to shove and they are met face to face with reality, they know that they actually have low self-esteem, which is why you will see certain content creators. Give me a second. I'm not going to lose my train of thought. I just need a drink. I just need a drink. Everybody knows that at least for this week, at least for the next 4 days, I will be drinking a tall glass of pink lemonade. Give me a second. There we go. I will be drinking a tall glass of pink lemonade. And I know this sounds disgusting, but it's going to be coupled with coffee. And the reason why is because I'm trying to minimize the intake of caffeine that I'm taking. And so, you know, I'm doing my part. You know, I'm trying to drink only half a cup of coffee. It's real rough for me, though, but I'm trying. Hold on. Give me a second. And there we go. And there we go. You're dealing with somebody that is truly addicted to caffeine right now. And I'm trying my hardest to remedy that, right? I'm trying my hardest to remedy that. All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to watch a clip, and y'all see that I'm in my office. This is Dr. Binary. Remember, this is a 3-part series that we're going through right now. The first part is early signs of trauma for Black boys. This is the first part, right? We're dealing with the early signs, and then we are going to progress into young adulthood, and then we are going to progress into manhood, right? When dealing with Black boys, you know, they come into young adulthood and then they go into manhood, and that's what we're going to be addressing. And here is the banner. I did not have this banner going, but it is now time for me to go ahead and show the banner. There it is. That is my Cash App if you want to bless your boy for all the research. So this is early signs of trauma for Black boys. All right. So that's exactly what we are going through on this first part of the series, of the 3-part series. Okay. So, all right. So there's that. Okay. So back to it. I do want to show a clip. Let me go ahead and get it. It is a how can I preface this? It is a clip of a man that is talking about some of the problems faced, if I can find it, within the Black community, and the importance for fathers to be present. Okay, we'll go with this one. We'll go with this one because I like how he started it. All right, here we go. All right. Conspiracy to strike Black boys. He believes that there's a conspiracy to strike Black boys. Okay, and so let me go ahead and take this banner down. All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna watch this like 45-second clip together, and then we're gonna talk about it. And we are not even close to being finished. I knew that this was going to need to be a 3-part series. I was thinking about trying to cram all of the information in 2 hours. And then as I was doing that, and as I was preparing and taking my notes and all that, I was like, there's just no way. There's no way in the world that I'd be able to do that. Right. And so it's a 3-part series. All right, let's listen to the homie talk about how they're after Black boys and stuff like that. Here we go.
Boys is what happens early on. And one of our concerns is we have studies that document that Black boys may be the best students in the country up until 4th grade. So the question is, what happens to Black boys in the intermediate and upper grades to begin to create the kind of image that you're talking about when they become 18 years and older? I sincerely believe that only men can make boys men. Now, don't misquote me. I did not say that a single female parent.
All right, listen to him now. Listen to him. So you could tell where his research primarily stems from. It comes from strong single Black mothers that understand the system. Because one thing you got to realize is Black women know how to mother effing adapt and take care of their mother effing family. They're like, yo, if I'm going to do this by myself, I'm going to figure out how to get this shit done. There are a lot of Black women that know how to do that. And a lot of Black women, they start to go into the educational field. And so they understand what's going on. And so they will raise their sons with that particular mindset. And so I could tell that's where most of his data came from, those strong Black women that understood the system and gave their sons a fighting chance during the Head Start stages. You know what I mean? I already told you guys that there are 2 trains of thought with that. And unfortunately, that white lady decided she was going to jump on the opposite end and show the detriment of Black boys not being prepared for the system. But this guy, who does his due diligence, actually understood that that's not always the case, right? And so I love the angle that he took. And so because he took that angle, he was able to get into further research and then let us know why there is a collapse of Black thought and excellence within for Black boys within education. And he's about to tell us why, which is what I love, because I think, you know, honestly, he's spot on. Here we go.
Cannot rear or educate her child, but she need not do that by herself. Because I understand we're on television time, it's time to make the point very clear. Where Black boys going to see Black men? If you look at the home, 38% of all Black children live in a single run household. In terms of school, 83% of all elementary school teachers are women. 95% of all teacher aides are women. When you look at on television, you'd be hard pressed to name 5 positive Black men on television outside the news, especially if I excluded Bill Cosby.
And we're going to stop there. And we know Bill Cosby is not somebody you want your kiddos to look up to. God damn. Like, we know that. But I see his point. Like, I see his point as clear as day, right? I see his point as clear as day. Let me get rid of that ticker. Yeah, because I'm not on here just to, you know, so let me go ahead and get rid of that. I see his point as clear as day. There is no real representation for black boys. There is no real representation. It's hard out there. It's hard. And one of the things is it's hard for black men to thrive within that structure as well, because it's not built for us either. It's just not. It's not. But change is happening. Sam Cooke, right? A change gonna come. Change is actually happening. And I'm just so glad that I'm part of that change. I might be missing so much in the chat. Please forgive me. I am gonna go back and read the chat, you guys, but I gotta get through this information. I am not about to start no school for no black boys. What up, outspoken one? Y'all better capitalize that S on addressing her. That's my homegirl right there. Nah, that ain't me, damn it. I ain't finna do that shit. Y'all ain't shit. All right, so let's jump back into it because we are not done, right? We are not done. So moving on to another portion that I would like to address, and that is the physical signs, right? Now, this is the obvious, okay? This is the obvious. Let me see. Which one is it? Damn it. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yep, there it is. It's just my nature. My nature. These are the physical signs, okay? The physical signs. Trauma's impact on the body can cause physical symptoms and changes to daily functioning. Alcoholism can lead to bloating. Alcoholism can lead to poor sight. And I'm not talking about when you're drunk. I'm talking about permanently. Alcoholism can lead to the destruction of vital organs, thus causing major health concerns. Eyeballs being extremely yellow, fingers being extremely bloated. How do you have bloated fingers? I don't know. But I know alcoholism can contribute to that. Alcoholism can contribute to the bottom of the belly being more what's the word? Prevalent than the rest of the body. Not even the whole belly, just the bottom. Can you imagine? Like there are so many physical signs, but there are also other signs that are physical, like hypervigilance, an extreme state of alertness, always on guard for potential threats, never ever trusting anybody. Now, mind you, this is all based off of early signs of trauma for a black boy. This can be a response to the fight or flight state activated by chronic stress. What I want you guys to picture today is your overall well-being in your overall life, the successes and failure of your life, all dictated by your YouTube presence. Can you even imagine that shit? Can you imagine that? Your overall health, mentally and physically, your overall moods in life. Your mood swings aren't determined by what actual real life presents to you in the adjustments you have to make. Imagine your mood swings being determined by YouTube. if that is the case, of course, you're always going to be on guard. If that is the case, of course, you're always going to have this extreme state of alertness. Now, because those things are untreated and are being cultivated by your very lifestyle, it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. And what do? You have to drink more and more and more. Don't forget, I believe we are on the floor of the sunken place and we are looking around at the walls. I don't think that this is common for everyday black folk. I think that this is very common for enabling single black mothers when they allow their sons to wild out. So I always like to make sure you guys know the premise so that you're not generalizing or that you don't think that I'm generalizing. I am being very specific. Other signs of other physical signs, which is just nature. Sleep disturbances. The drama's impact on young black boys' bodies, sleep disturbances, which is why a lot of content creators, unfortunately, stay up all hours of the night, but feel comfortable enough to sleep on live streams. God damn. There was a time there where I couldn't go to sleep without an earbud in my ear listening to true crime. Ain't that some shit? I had sleep disturbances as well. There was a time where I could not go to sleep unless I had an earbud in my ear and I was listening to true crime. You want to know what stopped me from doing that? I was scared that the devil was going to use that shit and somehow psychologically get into my brain. And so I was able to cut that shit out. And the reason why is because I have emotional intelligence, right? And I have those things where I don't need that. You know, like let me go ahead and try my hardest to cut that shit out of my life. Now, some people don't have that. Some people cannot sleep without YouTube and alcohol. Those are sleep aids. And those sleep aids don't do justice because you only get 45 minutes to an hour, possibly 2 hours to sleep. And then you're back up and you're back on the hamster wheel. And you're wondering why you're groggy and you're dragging along. And you wonder why when you actually disrupt your lifestyle, that particular lifestyle, which is a cost that I don't want to know. Like, right, that lifestyle cost, I don't want to know. I don't want to know that lifestyle cost. So keep it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to know it. So when that lifestyle gets disrupted, right? When that lifestyle gets disrupted, you can't be a functioning citizen. Isn't that crazy? You go places, you meet people, the people think that you're kind of awkward and weird because you don't know how to really conduct yourself in real society outside of your little bubble that you've created. That's insane when you look at somebody and you can tell that he or she cannot be a functioning citizen, a cog in the system of citizenship. Like, just socialize, just be semi-normal in public. Sleep disturbances can do that. Trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, having frequent nightmares. Alcoholism is driven by nightmares, pretty much. One, you probably either wrong somebody, like very, very bad, and that has not been dealt with. Reconciliation has not happened. Forgiveness has not been sought. Or two, something real traumatic like your father leaving and not raising you, or like maybe a death in the family, or like just something, abandonment issues. Like, there's so many things that can lead to sleep disturbances. But if you open your eyes, you can see that shit playing right before them, right before your eyes. Other physical signs are changes in appetite, right? There's a lot of changes in appetite. Hey, Stiggs is here. That's my homegirl right there. Shout out to Stiggs. And thank y'all for that have been rocking with me since the start of this. Hopefully it's all clicking, and hopefully Trini is here. Malik is here. Hey, the peoples is here. Let's go. And hopefully it's clicking, and you look forward to the other parts. Remember, this is a 3-part series, right? This is a 3-part series. This is the first part, which is early signs of trauma in for Black boys. This is the first part. We will be having 3 parts. And don't forget, if you're just coming in, let me remind you that I am drinking a tall glass of pink lemonade. Let me get a sip real quick. Hold on. I am drinking a refreshing tall glass of pink lemonade this morning, and I'm coupling it. I know it sounds gross, but I am coupling it with some coffee because I do have caffeine issues, right? I'm addicted to caffeine. So a big glass of lemonade, half a cup of coffee. I'm going to see if this works for me today. I doubt it, but I'm going to see if it works for me today. Hold on, let me get a sip of coffee. And here we go. Here we go. I got about 25 minutes left, so I really got to start cooking on this because that's all I got left. That's all the time I have. I only have 2 hours, you guys, every morning to dedicate. But don't forget, this is a 3-part series. Okay, so let's jump back into it. So we have the changes in appetite. It's interesting that if you study certain content creators, you can begin to see their eating habits, right? You can begin to see their eating habits. A lot of people know my eating habits, and they know that I eat very, very well, and I eat a lot of home cooked Asian meals, right? I mean, it's just dope just the way that is. As far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a lot of the things that I eat is home cooked. Now, due to the stress of my actual job that I have now, I've never been in this position. However, I enjoy the position that I'm in because I am genuinely using the degree that I have, my doctoral degree. I'm using it. I never thought that I would use it the way that I'm using it, but I am using it, and it's crazy. However, one thing that I did notice is I eat out a lot more now. Like Panda Express has been my friend, and you know what I mean? And it's sad to say, but I really do like Panda Express now. And so I do have a change in appetite, and it's only because of stressors. All right. I told y'all things were going to connect, but it's because of stressors in my life. And so you have certain content creators that thinks that it's a flex whenever they have like hot dogs delivered to them or certain other things delivered to them, or where they're eating stuff. You know what I mean? Like, okay. All that shows is kind of where you're at in life right now. You know, it kind of shows where you're at in life, you know, and it shows that you are deprived of good home cooking. You are deprived of that. Now, don't forget, we're talking about enabling Black mothers, right? So you could probably say, you can make a case for those that don't live with their mother, why they would be deprived of that, right? Because they got to get it how they live. They got to get it on their own. They got to really figure shit out. But if you're living with your mother and you're still deprived of good cooking, what's really going on? What's not being provided? What's not being dealt with? Is there suppressed resentment? Is there psychological trauma? Like, what is really going on where that is not being provided on both ends? Why is the boy not cooking for the mom and the mom not cooking for the boy, or them coming together as a collective unit as far as mother and son? That's just something, you know, you might want to just ponder and think about, because it is real. It is a real thing. Okay. What about the startle reflex? That's another physical sign of trauma. Increased startle reflex. Everything spooks this person. This person wants to fight everybody. If this person gets spooked in the most minuscule way, he's gonna want to fight. Being easily startled by sudden noises or movements. Who's breathing? Who's breathing? What is that noise? What is this? What is that? Those are physical signs of early trauma for black boys. What about the physical complaints? Like stomach aches. My stomach was hurting today, y'all. Reoccurring headaches. Or they talk about other physical pains with no clear medical cause. They just start talking about those are all physical signs that trauma has impacted the body. All right, I got one more clip to show, and then I have one more section to go through, and then we will be out of here. And I will talk about part 2 tomorrow of what we're going to be covering. So hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this here live stream. But Burgess Owens talks about fatherlessness within the black community, and is getting disrupted by, I think, is a black woman. I can't be too sure because they don't show the woman, but I think it's a black woman. But he's talking about fatherlessness in his community, and he is trying his hardest to bring awareness. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me share my screen, and we will dive deep into this, and then I'll get my ass up out of here because we only have 20 minutes anyways. Oh, damn, not me about to drop the link. No, you cannot drop the link, Binary. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, here we go. Boom. There it is right there. Boom. All right, y'all see that? Y'all see that right there? Y'all see that right there? There we go. Let's go ahead and listen.
I'd like to address comments made by my friend from Georgia on the other side. I think if we're going to ever get to resolving the issues we're having in the black community, we got to be honest, my friends. We just heard that a pushback on the fact that we're getting black men in the black community not doing their job. Well, let me give you the facts real quick. First of all, when I was growing up in the 60s, we led the country in men committed to marriage over 70%. Black women could rely on getting married more than white women until 1970. We now have between 70 to 80%.
Now, I don't want to tell people how to live, and I don't want to push marriage on people because I don't think that that's the be-all, end-all to the detriment within the black community. I just think we need to stay together. But I do find it interesting that there is always a time that you can point to where black people are leading the charge. However, when we start to lead the charge, we are faced with systemic oppression or envy from other groups that try their hardest to destroy whatever it is we got going on. And because of young black boys that have to deal with this trauma and self-hating of themselves, they will be used by certain agencies to infiltrate good shit in the black community to try to dismantle it and destroy it, especially if we are organizing around protecting ourselves, our investments, our communities, our families by any means necessary. So if we have that mindset, of course they will send somebody in to infiltrate and tear down the very fabric that should be holding up the black community. So I get what he's saying. And I like that he brought out the facts that we were leading the charge in marriage, but we are fighting an ugly, ugly, ugly system, and now we are at the bottom. So we just did the opposite of Drake, right? We started from the top, now we here. We started from the top, now our whole team is down here, right? So let's go ahead and listen.
Of black fathers who desert their families, and we're not willing to be honest about that. We're not willing to say that these guys need to man up.
Shout out to Olivia. Olivia is 100% correct. The crack epidemic was systemic. I'm telling you, anything we do to better ourselves, they will destroy. So if we don't really click up, and it starts at home, it starts with our psychological makeup. And I'm telling you, if you start in the sunken place, it is very hard to escape. But Olivia is on point, and shout out to Miami Popo. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and TMK, thank you. I see you. Anybody else in here that I missed? Free Thinker is here. It's my homegirl right there. Shout out to Free Thinker. Yvonne, I see you. Suki, I see you. Thank y'all so much for being here. I did say what's up to my homegirl Stiggs. All right, I think I got everybody. If I missed you, forgive me. Y'all know I'm trying to do my thing here. You know, I'm in Dr. Binary mode right now. So there's that, okay? All right, let's go ahead and let's move into this. Here we go.
Maybe when we start telling our kids that they're being nothing but whiners, weenies, and wimps if men cannot take care of their own kids, that might be a good start.
I reject the words
Well,
of
let
this
me
gentleman.
please, let me,
Mr. Chairman, I call for order.
Reject the words
I
of
call
this
for
gentleman.
order.
we right now.
They said, Mrs. Chairman, I call for order. So they're telling the chairman to shut up. Like, let the man talk. Let him have his 2 or 3 minutes, whatever time. You see, and that's another thing. This dude is telling the truth. Now, I don't know if this lady is black or not. Like, I don't know. Or maybe he's just speaking to her soul. Like, I don't know what's happening. But why is she trying to shut him up and reject? Look, he just painted a beautiful picture of the detriment to the black community. And this lady's going to be talking about what about solutions and this and that and this and that. Like, come on. Sometimes you got to recognize the problem. When you recognize the problem, then you can have the solutions. But she doesn't even want to acknowledge the problem, you know, and I hope she's not black, but you know, here we go.
Now, the facts are in.
Mr. Big says the time.
The facts are in. Facts. Black fathers, 70 to 80% are deserting their families. You talk to these black single women out there and see what they think about this. We sit in this little bubble where we're living the life. We're married, many of us, and we cannot be honest about what's happening in our urban communities. While these kids are growing up with no fathers, no example.
Solutions?
At the end of the day,
I can't. Whoever that person was, I want to slap the dog piss out of them. Like, I really do. It's so infuriating. All this dude is doing is dropping knowledge that black folk need to hear. We need to hear this shit. We need to hear it. Shout out to Too Big. I see you, big dog. Thank you for being here. We need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the suppression of black thought, is when we do start to vocalize some of the things that we need to work on, it always gets met with some type of resistance. Always. And you can be up here speaking nothing but clear facts. How in the hell are 70% of black families fatherless? I cannot fathom the thought that only 30% of black families have fathers. In my mind, I cannot fathom that shit. I can't. But it's a mother effing reality, damn it. I can't fathom it though. I just can't, man. Here we go.
there's a reason why our kids are being led toward these options of hopelessness. And for us to sit here in 2021, no, not right now. I'm sorry.
Not including you. Are you speaking about yourself? Oh my God, bro. I can't, bro. Like, my blood boiled when I saw this clip. My blood freaking boiled. It boiled. Because if this is not a representation, look, every time black people do stand together and speak out in isolation of white help or other minorities helps, like Hispanics, right? Like, we don't, whenever we are like, this is what we want to do, they always gotta chime in on some shit, man. And I can't, God, for the life of me, I'm getting frustrated just listening to this again. This is why I saved it to the end, because I already knew. But here we go.
Let me just finish. To sit here in 2021 and not point out the fact that we have fatherless homes. We have 70 to 80%. These are the facts, my friends. 70 to 80% will not marry the mothers of their children, and instead will probably try to convince them so that to dissolve them from their issues to go and get an abortion. We've lost 20 million black babies over the last 40 years. 40%
All right, I'm gonna stop there. I don't want to get into all of that political hoopla. I did have timestamps, but I went over it because I was so frustrated. So forgive me for that. But I did not want that captured on this particular stream. But it is true, though. I mean, what he's saying is true, and it is a damn shame, right? But I don't want to get into that because that is another slippery mother effing slope. Okay, so let's get into the last portion with my last 12 minutes. Let's get into the last portion of this first part of a 3-part series. All right, so here we go. A chance never given, right? Systemic oppression, a chance never given. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the trauma that's related to systemic oppression, right? And I'm saying suppression, right? Because there's both. So we are oppressed, and then because of the system, we suppress so much shit that aids into the destruction of our young black boys and the destruction of them growing up to be productive citizens in a society that genuinely doesn't give a shit about them. All right. So for black boys, signs of trauma are often compounded by systemic racism and can include this right here. Racial trauma, right? So symptoms that mirror post-traumatic stress disorder, right? But are specifically triggered by experiences of racism, bias, or witnessing racial injustice. Now, there are certain fields that you get in that are predominantly white spaces, right? Or just not necessarily black spaces. But when blacks enter those fields, they dominate. My best example is golf, right? But the example I want to use for this particular series is theater, right? Theater. Some of the best actors and actresses are black. We know Denzel Washington, in my humble opinion, is the mother effing GOAT, right? Everybody learns from Denzel. Everybody studies Denzel. Denzel is just the GOAT when it comes to actors, actresses. I don't give a damn. Plays. I don't care. Denzel is the man. There's no one above him, right? In my humble opinion. But that is a hard field for blacks to crack open. That is a hard field for blacks to get into. So imagine at an early age, and I know I'm moving into some of the teen and young adult side of things, but imagine at an early age you try to get into that field. Imagine being raised in a place close to Hollywood. You know, Hollywood is like a sniff in a stone's throw away from where you're at. All you got to do is just travel just a little bit and you're there. So imagine all of your dreams being placed right in front of you. But because you are a traumatized black boy in the theater school does not, or the theater production team or class or whatever it is that you took does not know how to quote unquote capitalize off of your pain, because because white folks love, especially in movies, love to capitalize off black people's pain. So I mean, if they did not know how to do that in high school and you keep getting passed over for roles that you dominate in, like you're better, but because you are faced with prejudice, because you are faced with racism and bias and racial injustices, like because you're faced with that, because they can't quite understand your energy, your nature, just who you are, you get passed over for things that you actually enjoyed. So instead of being the main character, you are the tree. So instead of being the main character, you are comic relief, and you don't need blackface because you already have one. So instead of being the main character, you are always the showman for goofiness, or you are always just that person that has to have a million different accents, right? You have to be goofy, right? You have to be able to, you know how you could cross your eyes and just look stupid? You know, you have to be able to cross your eyes. And what if you have a hidden talent where you could just cross one eye? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are so many things that you have to lean on that's not your primary passion or focus, because you know that that person that has that lead role, you know you did better, right? So though that is trauma. And so because you were rejected in those elements, one thing that social media did was create a space where you can call yourself king in this and that and this and that, and you could try to make up for the depression that you are facing that came from early childhood trauma. You can make up for it by trying to not relive those experiences, but rewrite those experiences, right? But the only problem is when you're trying to rewrite those experiences, back then you didn't suffer from substance abuse. Now that you suffer from substance abuse, it's just not quite hitting the same, and you will never be fulfilled, right? Now, also, what can happen with systemic oppression that deals with systemic suppression is a distrust for institutions. That's why a lot of people that I'm talking about that have suffered trauma at an early age, especially young Black boys, they have a distrust for institutions because they just cannot keep a job. Job keeping is not important in their lives. One of the reasons why is because they bought into the trap set before them of instant gratification, and they need things now. They don't want to take the time to build a savings account. They need money now. They don't want to take the time to build a career. They want money now. And so they're in and out of jobs. They cannot settle down because they think that they're going to be instant millionaires. And so what social media has done is has granted some people's wishes. One stat that I love about college, especially college sports, is every single high school athlete thinks somehow, some way they're going to go to college and play that sport. That's rare to happen. That is rare that you actually get a scholarship to go play that sport. You are selected out of hundreds of thousands of people every year that are trying to get these scholarships. You are like one of maybe 10,000 that get sports scholarships, right? Especially full ride. And then let's go ahead and do the comparison from college to the NFL or from college to any professional sport. The percentage gets even lower and lower and lower and lower. But this is where a lot of Black boys put their trust in instead of genuine, full-on careers. We have been driven down to the sunken place, and we spend all of our time trying to get to a place where only a small fraction can get to. Now, I use the sports analogy, but now what I want to do is use the social media analogy, because you think you can do it and you think it's going to be sustainable and you have met some type of success. You think that this is going to be your life, but just as fast as they build you up, they will tear your ass down. Now, what are you left with? Let's go back to the sports analogy. When some people put all of their eggs in that sports basket, they're going to play basketball, they're going to play football, they're going to play baseball. Whenever they get injured, they have nothing really to fall back on because the degree that they got does not service them well in real life, because they wanted to get one of those basic degrees so that they didn't have to really focus in school, but they could focus on their passion, which is sports, right? And so a lot of people on social media are thinking that social media is going to be a real thing. Don't forget, there was a time there where Donald Trump was getting rid of TikTok in America. There might be a time where the YouTube guidelines are so strenuous that you can't even cuss on YouTube anymore. And all the drama elements of YouTube are taken away. And if somebody flags your channel and it has just hints of discrimination or drama or anything, your videos can be taken down. What is a content creator in the beef sector going to do if that becomes a reality? If YouTube deems anything inappropriate, forms of harassment, what is this particular content creator going to do? They're going to be stuck between a rock and a mother effing hard place, because now it's going to be, where is your talent? What do you have to fall back on? And just like those sports people, nothing. And now they hustling and trapping and doing all kinds of evil shit. All right. Avoidance, right? Avoiding places, avoiding meetups, avoiding people, avoiding situations that remind them of those encounters that they had as a young Black boy growing up without a father, right? And an enabling mother. Sorry, guys, I gotta speed through this because I gotta get my ass up out of here. And then there's cognitive changes, right? This is what the white lady was alluding to, especially when it deals with black boys entering into the school system, right? So cognitive changes, difficulty concentrating or focusing, especially on information that they don't deem relevant. That's why black boys struggle in Head Start. That's why they struggle with assimilating into this system, because they don't see this shit as relevant, because they can't relate. So it makes sense. But then, believe it or not, the makeup of their brain starts to change, because they know that everything is predicated upon now them learning this system that wasn't even built for them. Case in point, you're not doing your homework, you're not focused in class, you're not listening to your teacher, all these things that I gave you that you loved, all these video games, enabling mom, all these video games, all this, all that, the chores, I mean, not the chores, the allowances that I gave you, this and that. I'm starting to take all that shit away, because you are not being docile in a system that was not created for you. God damn. And so with all of that, right, we expect now this young black boy to grow up and be a functioning young adult with the world stacked against him. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we are going to get into my enabler. So we focused on the black boy that has been enabled and the trauma that can lead to where we're at now. Like we're gonna get there, but the trauma that can lead to where we're at now, that's what we focused on. But tomorrow we're gonna focus on the enabler, my enabler, trauma through suppression. We're gonna hyper focus on the psychological effects of being a black man that was raised by an enabling single mother. We are going to focus on that. All right. So that is going to be our primary hyper focus tomorrow. And tomorrow I will be drinking another tall glass of refreshing pink lemonade. This whole series is sponsored by Pink Lemonade. All right. Because I am trying to battle my addiction to caffeine. Thank you guys so much for listening. I can't wait to go back and read the chat to see where you guys are at. I know that there's probably some people that agree with me. I know that there's probably some people that disagree with me. I love that. I love the element of discussion. So thank you guys once again for being here and for showing love. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Monday. Peace. Watch us turn up. Watch us turn up. Yeah. People get so confused. How is this doctor in the hood? Navigate the system, refuse to let it take my mind, body, and soul. You see what's good is misunderstood. Divine got me not sold out, but walked in the fire. Develop a real team. Try, tested it, true desire to really reach one. Teach one and learn from one. In a sector where they snake one, break one. Ain't no loyalty, niggas is fake. I see all them leaves. I got the rake, yeah, let's go ahead and rake them up. Bag them up, yeah, let's go ahead and bag them up. Rake them up, let's body bag them up. What's the point when they don't play by the rules of engagement? They on that fake shit. Get it? They can't hang when the pressure cooker's on top temp. That's when they resort to doxing, calling jobs in, weak-minded with weak views and tight wigs. All of their time spent watching YouTube with no riz. Kids in the background screaming for attention they don't get. For some cash apps and AdSense checks already spent. For some cash apps and AdSense checks already spent. Watch us turn up. 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 Shout out to the codification squad. Shout out to the green team. Shout out to the code breakers. Shout out to Code Fam. Watch us turn up. Watch us turn up. Watch us turn up. Watch us turn up.